They, y'all, I literally have 1% vision. Oh my god. But you see the swelling moved out of my forehead? It's out of my top of my face, and now it's like all right here. Oh my god, I look crazy. Like, I'm actually
transplant that nobody tells you about, that your hair can still be thin and you may need to go for a second one. I had a hair transplant in Turkey, December 2022. I had 4,050 grafts and my hair is still thin. As you can see, look how thin and gappy it is.
A British man has died after getting a hair transplant in Turkey. Martin Lachman passed away after the £1,500 procedure at a clinic in Istanbul.
Turkey has a huge problem when it comes to hair transplants. But let me explain. Turkey has world-class hair surgeons and some of the worst clinics, just like anywhere else. But the real problem is not Turkey. It's just that there are too many big clinics that needs to get filled every single day to make profits. 10 to 30 patients per day and low to non-quality, and there's not enough time to finish jobs carefully as the next patient is already waiting.
Thousands of people are flying to Turkey every year for hair transplants. Social media makes it look easy. Fly in, get the surgery, and come home with a full head of hair. But is that the whole story? Today, we are looking at the dark side of hair transplants, the story, the regrets, and complication, and what some people say clinics don't always talk about. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Joy. I'm so happy you're here. On this channel, we have honest discussion about beauty, hair, cosmetics, procedures, and trading topics people are talking about. If you enjoy content like this, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a new upload. Today, we are talking about hair transplants, especially the growing trend of people traveling to Turkey for the procedure. We are going to watch videos, react to people's experience, and talk about what they say went well and what did not. Discussed over the last few years, hair transplants have become more popular than ever. Social media is filled with amazing before and after result. But there's another side that does not always go viral. Some people have shared stories about painful recovering, swollen infections, poor hair growth, unnatural hairlines, multiple procedures, and disappointed with their results. Some also say they did not fully understand the recovery process or what to expect after the surgery. Today, we are going to watch some of these stories, react to them, and have an open discussion. Remember, this video is not about saying hair transplants are good or bad. Many people are happy with their results, others have had very different experiences. The goal is to look at both sides of the conversation. Let's see what people have to say.
they, y'all, I literally have 1% vision. Oh my god. But you see the swelling moved out of my forehead? It's out of my top of my face, and now it's like all right here. Oh my god, I look crazy. Like, I'm actually looking at myself right now. Y'all probably thinking, you're not seeing yourself. I have like 2% vision. See, my eyes are under there. Oh my god, look.
Turkey has a huge problem when it comes to hair transplants. But let me explain. Turkey has world-class hair surgeons and some of the worst clinics, just like anywhere else. But the real problem is not Turkey. It's just that there are too many big clinics that needs to get filled every single day to make profits. 10 to 30 patients per day and low to non-quality, and there's not enough time to finish jobs carefully as the next patient is already waiting. Turkey has just commoditized hair transplants on a big scale. And doctors are just creating the hairlines, and the rest is done by low-paid technicians that are doing everything to keep prices competitive with all the other clinics. And most of the clinics sell cheap packages with a lot of grafts that you might not even need, but no future planning. You see a lot of fake Instagram followers and the accounts have zero engagement. You see paid reviews, and a lot of these clinics make illegal ads with, for instance, my face on it, and I haven't even been there. Good results really come from skill, good ethics, and patience. And Turkey is not the problem at all. Greed is. So make sure you make a good research and find a doctor or clinic that you trust. And if you need more guidance, ask me or check out the guide in my
Transplant that nobody tells you about, that your hair can still be thin and you may need to go for a second one. I had a hair transplant in Turkey, December 2022. I had 4,050 grafts and my hair is still thin. As you can see, look how thin and gappy it is. So what I use to cover these thin patches is I use hair fibers, keratin hair fibers, which wash off easily with shampoo and water. You give the hair fibers a shake and you literally just dab it on. Look, like that. If you really want to get it quickly on, you dab it on just like that. I'm using dark brown. Right, you can see the color is a bit weird. So what you do, you blend it in, you dab it in like that. Boom, 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 boom. Quickly, quickly, quickly. And just like that, it easily blends in. If you want to get a better outcome with the hair fibers, you can use the applicator, which is for the hairline, the front bit. So look, my hairline's here. You can see it's very thin and gappy. So what I do is I spray on the hairline. To see if it's working, just spray on your face. I haven't got much hair fibers left. I do need to get some more. But yeah, you can use it on the corners as well. You can use it on the crown as well. Look, now you can see that it's all covered up. So yeah, guys, this hair fiber kit is extremely cheap. $19.99 for just the hair fibers. Or you can get the applicator spray with it. And you can get the spray that you can lock it in. But yeah.
Exposing the truth about hair transplants. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you gents, because I've screwed up. Alright, pretty majorly, and I don't want you to either. And if you're new to my TikTok, I had a transplant myself, so I'm speaking from experience. I went from this to this, and then recently the barber messed up my haircut, chopped it all off, and I went to this. But this has exposed something, and you need to have this on the forefront of your mind, because my hair density isn't the best as it should be, and it's not until I've had it cut to this length that I've even realised this. A hair transplant isn't gonna fix your male pattern baldness, right? It's gonna be a foundation. There's a ton of good clinics you can go to, and the results that they give you are simply gonna be a foundation for having the best hair as to what you can have. Your results are gonna differ to pretty much everyone else's you see, because there is nobody like you. You have your own DNA. Your hair is not like anyone else's. And you should be taking preventive measures before having the transplant. This is something that I wasn't doing, right? And even after the transplant, I have not been doing what I should be, because I've been naive enough to think that I was a unicorn. I've been looking in the mirror, loving how the hair looks. I actually had two. I had one, and then a year after I had a second, just for increased density. I didn't want to have too many grafts taken out at the same time. Throughout this 12-month period after each transplant, when it's hit peak density, I've been over the moon and thought I could shy away from being regimented with any form of after treatment, which is stupid, because my dad was bald at 20, my younger brother went bald around 20, my uncle's bald, my cousins are bald. So thinking that I could swerve nature's destiny was so naive, I can't even begin to explain it to you all. And this isn't my surgeon's fault, right? They've gave me a great result. And even now, you know, the hair looks good now, but in certain lighting, it's not gonna look as perfect. Different styles are gonna work different for everyone, and you're not gonna know what hairstyle is gonna look best for your transplanted hair until you heal really from that procedure. You can take a look at whatever your favorite result is online and kiss goodbye to it, because realistically, like I say, your results aren't going to look like that. There are so many variables that will affect your outcome. You have your hair itself, where you are on the Norwood scale, your surgeon's skill, how many grafts that you have, and of course, like I've been saying, your aftercare. Some people are going to have a thicker outcome. Some people's hair density is going to look better than others. I just want you all to have realistic expectations when going in for this procedure. I don't regret it at all, right? I can still increase the density of my hair, and that's what I'm going to document for you all. I'm going to be kickstarting PRP, red light therapy, of course daily supplements, and other daily hacks to, you know, transform the condition that my hair is currently in. Because yeah, as of right now, this looks good. When it was swept all the way back, it looked good. But say, for example, if I was to push this to here, my natural parting is not as dense as it should be, right? This natural parting here is not as thick as it should. And all of that is just down to how I have handled the aftercare. I just didn't prioritize it. I prioritized making money, gents. I'll be brutally honest. I had the transplant, I was growing my business. Money's nice now, but I shouldn't have neglected the aftercare. And I just cannot stress enough the importance of it, because it's been a real eye-opener to me, having it cut this short and realizing that the density is nowhere near what I thought it was. And I want to use this platform to educate and just cut through all the fluff and the BS that there is online. So if any of you have any questions, just comment them down below and I will make sure to cover it in any of the future and the following content.
So this video is the 5 worst things about the hair transplant. So number 5 would probably be not being able to get a full shower for 10 days. You're only allowed body showers for 10 days, and then obviously after 10 days you're allowed a full shower. It feels unreal getting a proper good shower. Number 4 would probably be having to be so careful you don't smack your head. I've actually been really careful and only smacked my head once recently, but see, if you smack your head at the start, you're fucked. Like the follicles would probably come out and then the hair transplant would be fucked. So yeah. Number 3 would probably be the itching on the head. I didn't get it that bad because I think my head got so swollen after that it was just sweet. But I think number 3 would definitely be the itching. It has been itchy in some parts, like, but at the start you're not really allowed to itch it, and I'm sure people do itch it because it's probably the worst. Not just so irritated, like, it must just be, you need to itch it, like. So yeah, I'd say that's probably number 3. Number 2 is probably the injections. Some people get the injections really bad, some people don't, but I'd say the injections were 6 out of 10 pain. There was someone beside me actually shouting from the injections, so I'm sure it was sore for him, like. And then obviously number 1 would be the sleeping. See, the first few nights you get no sleep at all, because say if you fall asleep, even with your neck pillow or something, if you're a deep sleeper, you could come out of that neck pillow and end up lying or sleeping on your side, and the follicles could come out, like. So I reckon that's probably the worst part, like. The first few nights you're just so scared about the follicles coming out, you actually don't get any sleep. So yeah, I'd say that's the top 5 most annoying things about the hair transplant.
So I thought I should bring an update because I posted my first video about my hair transplant some hours ago. I have about 100 views. No one has asked this question, but I just feel like if I was the one watching the video, I'll be wondering, wait, why is her head so big? Why is her head and her face so swollen? Now, it's a side effect of the whole entire process of hair transplant, particularly because they injected local anesthesia into my head. Now, I haven't Googled this. I'm not a medical personnel, but based on my experience, what I understand local anesthesia to be is when they inject anesthesia, which is something that numbs pain. They inject anesthesia into different parts of, into the part that they're going to perform surgery on or a procedure on, so that you don't feel pain. So they injected all these needles, which was extremely painful, excruciatingly painful. Nobody in all my research said anything about the pain that comes with hair transplant. That injection is painful. Now, when I heard about local anesthesia, I thought it was just going to be one injection, but they put different injections, at least 10 or 15 injections at different points of my head. And what was strange was I could still feel some pains when they're poking in the needles at different points. I could still feel some pain. So the local anesthesia did not actually really work 100%. It worked maybe like 95%. Now, they injected local anesthesia. They also injected a fluid to swell my scalp so as to separate my skull from my scalp, and also to prevent them from poking into nerves. And I'm not a medical personnel, but yeah, to prevent them from poking into nerves and blood vessels and whatnot. So all those fluids that were injected, or that was injected on Thursday, are now looking for where to come out from, hence my face being swollen. To reduce the side effect, which is this swell, I should have limited physical activities between Thursday and today, but that was difficult because I had to get on a plane, I had to pick up my luggage, I had to, do all kinds of necessary things. So it's almost impossible to not engage in physical activities. Then I was also advised to not bend over. There were times where I forgot and I didn't fully bend over, but I kind of bend a little, and you're not supposed to do that. So now my face is swollen, but it has improved from my previous video, which I'm happy about. This eye is now open. In my previous video, this eye was completely shut. So we're getting there. I'll keep posting updates. Thanks, guys.
This is the stage where people start to question everything because really, what is happening here? This is how real healing looks 4 weeks post hair transplant. Everyone shows day 1 of their hair transplant and then 6 months to 1 year after, but no one really shows the in between of the healing journey and recovery process. First off, I have a scalp tattoo. I have SMP, which is scalp micropigmentation, if you've never heard of it, and it is here only and a little bit of here. You will see tiny dots that looks like a tattoo. So if you see that in my videos, that's what it is. Apart from that, there is a very dark outline of my hairline. Some people have that inflammation surrounding their hairline and other people don't. I happen to have that, so that's why it looks a little bit darker and more defined right now. Now, the obvious elephant in the room is the shock loss. Your transplanted hair will fall out on purpose. Don't be worried though, because it will come back. Shock loss happens because your scalp went through trauma during surgery, so your hair basically goes into survival mode and it sheds. But it's not just the transplanted hair that sheds. You can also lose some of your existing hair around it too. Because I have that scalp micropigmentation tattoo, there is a shadow where some of that hair loss is happening. So you do see more of a shadow on me. Other videos you may watch, it may be completely bald in the front. I have that tattoo there where most of my hair loss was. So you're not able to really see it in certain lighting, but it's definitely still there up close. I'm not even gonna lie. When this happened, I thought I messed everything up because your hair will literally look thinner than it did before and nobody prepares you for that part. But don't worry, this is only temporary. You have beautiful hair.
Good morning, everybody. So as you can see, I don't particularly look my best today. It is day 4 since my hair transplant, and as expected and as explained in my previous videos, there is going to be quite a lot of swelling up to day 7. So it did start yesterday, and I woke up this morning and I look like this. But this is just a quick update for you today. Last night obviously I done my hair wash routine and managed to get refreshed and things like that. But yes, the swelling today is really bad. Around the back of my head, my sister has said that it doesn't look too bad now. It looks back to normal. Obviously I can't see that. All I can see is the front of my face. Up the top, the swelling has started going down. But this is my face, and yeah, I'll give you more updates as it happens. I'll see you later.
These are some of the worst things after a hair transplant. I'm gonna just tell you how to go about it. All right, so the first thing that I could think of are just the needles that they use to freeze your head. I don't think you can get like anything about this done. Like, I think you just gotta get the needles, but like you'll be fine because like this is right before surgery, so you're just in like the mindset. You're just gonna go through anything you gotta do to get your hair back, you know? The next hard thing was sleeping, bro. Fucking, we all know you gotta sleep at like a 90-degree angle, but I use these 2 things to sleep. You put this pillow here and you use a neck pillow, right? You gotta keep your head propped up. Sleeping is really hard. Like, you're not gonna be able to fall asleep because of the pain, or at least for me. I was just watching YouTube like all night, right? And I was just trying to stay up so late where then I could just fall asleep. But then every time I fell asleep, I would wake up because I'd have like a bad dream of me like messing up my hair, you know? Like I would be too paranoid while going to sleep that I was woken up from that. Honestly, like whether you're a good sleeper or not, like a deep sleeper, like if you're going into this thinking like, oh, I'm a deep sleeper, I'm just gonna go fall asleep. Like, you're not just gonna go fall asleep, bro. Like, it's just like, you're gonna be staying awake. And I promise you, or like I swear for me, when I fell asleep, I was up like within the hour. Real, like I was looking at the clock the whole time, I swear. And then again, the last thing that I hated about this hair transplant is the itch phase from like 5 to 10. Again, it's not an itch, it's just a straight pain from your head healing and the scabs on your head, right? For the transplanted area, like the part on the top of your head, there's nothing you can do about that, right? You just have to let that heal. But for the donor area, you need to use Loprox lotion or Loprox cream, and also aloe and water in a spray bottle. If you spray that on your donor area, it should help with like the irritation and stuff. The hair transplant is still a smart decision 100%. It's just like the first 2 weeks that you gotta push through. But if you're looking for one, go to the link in my bios, go click.
So we have just heard from people who have actually gone through this procedure. We have heard their experiences, their challenges, their regrets, and what they said they wish they have known beforehand. Now, let's hear from the other side of the conversation. What do the professionals have to say? what are the risks, the benefits, and the things they believe people should know before deciding to have a hair transplant. Let's listen to what the experts have to say, and then we'll be back and talk about it.
Considering to get a hair transplant? Well, most of my patients, I would urge them to think again. And the reason for this is that most patients don't get accurate and proper planning before they go into their hair transplant. And this is a big mistake, and potentially it's setting yourself up for failure. And I'm going to tell you why. So there's a few steps to proper analysis. So number one, you have to chat to your surgeon, and he has to know your age, your family history, and your medical history. These are the key components of starting a good evaluation for surgery. Another really important thing that you need to have assessed is the quality of your donor area. We need to know how thick your hairs are, how many hairs you have per square centimeter in that donor, and what are the characteristics of your hair. Is it curly, straight, wavy? What color is your hair? We also need to know how large the recipient area is, which pretty much means how bald are you? And from this, we can calculate exactly how much coverage you need and exactly how much coverage is possible, right? So you're not going to set yourself up for failure if you know exactly what to expect before you go in for surgery. So if you go into surgery expecting to look like when you were 16 and that is not possible, well, you're going to be upset. But if before surgery we plan it properly, maybe give you a more mature hairline with the right density for you, well, then you know what to expect and you will be happy with that. So it all depends on your expectations and what's possible with your current situation. So guys, don't rush and get a hair transplant before you plan for it properly. If you do plan for it, the chances of you getting a lovely result are quite high. If you don't plan for it, well, there's many disaster stories that I see every single day. Please don't be one of those.
I look like freaking Megamind.
Swelling after a hair transplant is absolutely expected. Now, this is a lot of swelling in this patient's case. It's likely due to the fact that too much tumescence fluid was used during the case, and you do spend a lot of time with your head down, so you can develop swelling around here. Regardless, this swelling that this individual is experiencing will resolve within 5 to 7 days, and it won't have any impact on his hair transplant.
Okay, I just got a hair transplant at the age of 27, and my face this morning is extremely swollen. Literally, since I've woken up, I almost can't see out of my left eye.
Why is he swollen like that? What is going on? Okay, this is actually not abnormal. He had a hair transplant, and in that area, there's a lot of swelling. What's really interesting is that there are a lot of what we call fascial connections, or just adhesive connections of the tissues anatomically underneath the skin that can trap in areas of swelling. So anytime you have any inflammation, there's usually a degree of swelling underneath the skin. Usually there's enough laxity of the skin that it doesn't really lock things in and make them super obvious. But in this case, there are these connections of the fascia here. So all of this swelling is just trapped in here and it's just growing. You see this in a lot with hair transplants. You see this, funny enough, I just saw someone who was allergic to hair coloring and his whole forehead up here was just super swollen. Every now and then it'll track down even into the cheeks and the face, but it can be pretty dramatic. As clinical chief of plastic surgery at Cedars, we get a lot of people who've had procedures done all over the world with varying complications and things like that. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Turkey. And I see them in the hospital and we manage these things. And it's interesting because sometimes we just tell the ER, hey, this is a normal thing. Other times there are some pretty serious issues happening. In his case, this is pretty straightforward and I pretty much guarantee calm down after a couple of days.
5 reasons you shouldn't get a hair transplant surgery if you're a man. Number 1, aggressive, unstable hair loss. Listen, if you have got aggressive hair loss, what ends up happening is you end up losing a vast amount of your hair. If you have a hair transplant surgery, let's say we're doing the frontal part, then the bit behind it is going to go, the bit behind that is going to go, and it's going to go very quickly. So within a space of 12 to 18 months, you're going to need 2, 3, 4 surgeries. So the first thing you need to do is try and stabilize that hair loss. Number 2, if you have got hair loss, I highly recommend taking some form of medication. Hair loss and trying to slow it down is all about compliance and consistency. I want to get a six-pack. I go to the gym once a month. Doesn't mean I'm going to get a six-pack because consistency is not there. Reason number 3, unrealistic expectation. If you are a fairly balding man, then unfortunately you are not going to look like John Bon Jovi after a hair transplant surgery. You have to have realistic expectations. You're not going to get a hairline that's just above your eyebrows. We're not here to create a Zayn Malik lookalike, so please stop asking for hairlines like that. Not going to happen.
I got my hair done 2 days ago. As you can see, it's healing up now. And no, I did not go to Turkey to get my hair done, for anyone that's going to ask.
Swelling is a common side effect of hair transplants, usually appearing 2 to 6 days after surgery. It happens due to fluid buildup and inflammation, which are natural responses to the procedure. The swelling often affects the forehead, scalp, and sometimes the eyelids, which in rare cases can make it difficult to even open your eyes. To reduce it, doctors recommend wearing a headband, sleeping upright, using cold compresses, and taking prescribed steroids if needed. While hair transplants are generally safe, they do carry some risks, including infection, bleeding, folliculitis, numbness, scarring, temporary hair shedding, and in rare cases, necrosis and unsatisfactory results. Fortunately, serious complications are rare when performed by an experienced surgeon. Share this video if you found it helpful and follow.
That brings us to the end of today's video. What do you think? Would you ever travel to another country for a hair transplant? Do you think social media shows the whole story or only the success stories? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not already and turn on your notification. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Joy and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.